what are the most common defensive maneuvers, there's actually a lot that John Gottman talks about, but I'm going to talk about the top 5 defensive maneuvers that I see that occur most often that you probably can relate to. The first one is just the denial defense, right? So this is like if your partner says, hey, I saw the bill didn't get paid. I thought you were going to pay that. And you say something like, I never said I would do that. That's not my job. I didn't do anything wrong, right? It's the classic not guilty plea. It's moving into trying to just deny and move yourself out of accountability. And that's your whole purpose. It's not to problem solve. It's not to understand. It's not to come up with a solution. It's really just to remove yourself of any kind of accountability. And even though there might be some truth to the feedback, that's not what you're looking for. Your purpose is in whatever approach you take is to deny responsibility for what their perception is. The second kind is to excuse. So this is, where you're making excuses, basically. The traffic was terrible. That's why I was later. My boss called and it took forever. And this one's hard because there might be a perfectly reasonable explanation for why you couldn't meet expectations or why you're getting some kind of feedback or why they're talking to you about what they're talking to you about, but it has the impact of dismissal, right? If there's a good reason, and you're bringing up the really good reason, then there's nowhere to go in the conversation. It's a refusal to engage the feedback, right? I've just explained it away, so now there's nowhere to go, and the person that's sharing the feedback doesn't really feel like you heard them. Even if you're not attacking them, even if you're not being rude about it, you're essentially structurally making it so that they're not going to feel heard, basically. And it is a form of deflection. The third most common thing that I see is cross-complaining, or what I call table turning. So if someone says, you know what, I really wish you had done the dishes like you promised, and you fire back with, well, I wish you wouldn't leave your clothes all over the floor. Or you didn't call me to tell me that you were going to be late, and you fire back with, well, what about you when you drive like a maniac? I could just as easily complain about that, but I'm not complaining about that, am I? Right? And so instead of addressing their concern, you're launching your own complaint, which is really unfair because if you have your own complaint, you can bring up your own complaint, but you don't want to wait for them to bring a complaint for you then to counter complain. And it's essentially just turning the table. So whatever they're upset about, they do something just as bad. And so you're changing the subject. You're putting them now on the defensive so that you get the defensiveness off of yourself, put them on the defensive, and you never really respond to what they're saying. And so as you can see, it doesn't bring you any closer, and it only creates frustration.